Greetings Tarnished, FiOth here, and in this video I'm gonna show you how to effectively buff your character in order to increase your overall damage, and I'm gonna briefly break down what stacks and what doesn't stack when it comes to buffing your weapons. This is gonna be focusing on the offensive side of things. If this vid performs, I will make another one related to the defensive side. I'm gonna be real specific and real quick, so I don't waste any more of your time. Let's get to it. What we need to understand first and foremost is that certain weapons cannot be buffed. When it comes to weapon buffing, every single weapon that does not bear some kind of enchantment or is not a unique boss weapon will be buffable with spells like this. I activate it, and now the buff is on my weapon. If it's a weapon that turns into two weapons, like claws for example, or the ornamental sword, you do not need to buff each weapon individually. If you buff the right side and then you just dual wield, both of them will be buffed. So I am using this spell right here. It is called the Black Flame Blade. It says enhance right hand ornament with black flame, and as you can see, my R1 is 339 damage, nothing applied to it. Then we go, cast this, and now we're looking at 440, very substantial buff. But this is just the bottom enhancement tier that we can reach. I'm gonna top up my focus here, and I'm gonna do the following. I'm gonna start with Golden Vow. I'm gonna use Flame Grant Me Strength. Then I'm gonna refill my focus. I am going to equip the Jellyfish Shield real quick, cast his enchantment, and finally I am gonna use Black Flame Blade. With all this, we're looking at 607. We nearly doubled the damage. Some of these buffs last less and some last more. There are a ton of combinations to use when it comes to buffing. Rule of thumb is the one that stays longer, like Flame Grant Me Strength or the Golden Vow, should be activated first, followed by the ones that are activated for less duration. If you wanna know what sequence is best, after each patch you can look up a wiki like the Extra Life, which I usually use because guys there have been doing an excellent job, and see what the duration is, if it got nerfed or if it got buffed. I cannot really break everything here down because this vid, when it comes to numbers, might become obsolete down the road. I wouldn't want to have to redo it with everything that entails. Now another thing that has to be understood is that not everything is related to weapon buffing, of course, as we demonstrated here. What we basically need to understand is that there are the area buffs like the Golden Vow. This will also help your allies. It goes on self and allies. Flame Grant Me Strength goes on yourself and stacks with the Golden Vow. And then the shield buff that we get from the Jellyfish also goes on oneself and buffs them. And then, of course, the weapon buffing art that you see here, the Black Flame Blade. If a weapon cannot be buffed, the Black Flame Blade goes out the window. It's out of the equation. It cannot be used because the weapon doesn't take that. But when it comes to self-buffing spells and incantations, what goes on yourself can always be cast even if you're using a weapon that does not normally accept enchantments. Another thing you should be concerned about is what you can do when it comes to health and min-maxing. If we go to the Red Feather Branch Sword, for example, it says raises attack power when HP is low. This is used to initiate what's been called hyper modes in Demon Souls Day. If you have low health, like if you're in the red, very low health, you can do that by just using seppuku again and again, or getting attacked by an enemy and barely surviving. You will get an additional damage boost. Okay, on top of everything else, and I know this is becoming a lot, but I need to get this out so I can help you as best I can. There are abilities like this, the Knight's Resolve, that states, royalize the resolve skill to the knights who once served the Elden Ring. Hold the flat of the armor on your face and pledge your resolve greatly powered up your next attack. So if you initiate this right before you attack, you will always get a huge chunk of damage, and this is not tied to anything else. There is no classing with any other buff. Doesn't matter what weapon you're using, if it is a boss weapon or a special weapon or whatever. If you have this on your weapon, you will get a huge boost for your next attack, a single next attack. Of course, in order for me not to get misunderstood, if a weapon is sporting a specific weapon, specific Ash of War, you cannot swap it for the Royal Knight's Resolve, you cannot do anything. But if you have a really big hammer, well, you've seen the vids, I suppose. You can do some extremely wacky things with the damage boosts. So, what we want to take out of this is, you first want to conserve yourself with the longest lasting buffs, like buffing yourself with Golden Vow, buffing yourself with Fire Grant Me Strength, for example. That's a very simple combo. I cannot go through every single spell that buffs you, but as soon as you get a spell or incantation that has its description that it increases damage in some way, you can start experimenting and mix and matching. Always remember to cast the one that lasts last. Okay, so you will have maybe 15-20 seconds with some of these incantations. You want to make the best of them. Don't forget that Ashes of War are activated individually by themselves and do not clash with anything else. They always stack and you can always make the best of them, but you have of course to use them properly because most of them are single attack or single application. With that, I hope I helped you a bit to understand how you can increase your damage. I'm gonna do one last demonstration here of a very simple buff that you can apply if you're using a bleed build that 99.9% of the population is using right now. You can go with simply Golden Vow. I'm gonna show you my numbers here. We're looking at 596, almost 600 damage. I'm casting Golden Vow. Then Flame Grant Me Strength, just a couple casts, and then if I go into my stats, I'm looking at 822. I got more than 200 damage. Okay, that's 30% more damage than what I had, and I just cast two spells that last about 45 seconds if I'm not mistaken. If I'm mistaken, it doesn't even matter because these numbers always change. Buffs and debuffs always happen with the latest patch notes. So, this is a pretty easy combo that you can use for every single fight in your game. Doesn't take too much preparation and it doesn't take that much FP. Like my FP pool is pretty small as you can see, but I managed to cast them both with less than 84 and be ready for battle. It's still running as you can see. Very good stuff, very potent and easy to apply. Sub, like and share for more content like this. Hit the notification bell if you want to see us streaming Elden Ring or other games. And until next time, be well, stay frosty and always strive for perfection. Cheers.